All right. Well, I'm out here this morning, and you can see behind me I've got both of those pop-up tents down, and everything's cleared off. Too bad it's all dirt, no grass, or maybe even a deck or something. But I'm going to come out here today and put up a new 10 by 20 carport, one of those portable carports, just like the one I have over here on the side here for a while. And it has come in very handy, and I decided to put this 10 by 20 up in place of those pop-ups, and hopefully it'll withstand the weather a little better, and it'll be solid all the way through, because usually when it rains, I mean, on those pop-ups right in the center, it's still, everything's getting wet, plus the 10 by 20 carport will be able to house everything in there. It'll keep everything a little more dry. I have the sides, front and back, and it is a little different than the one I had over here. I can compare it to you once I get this erected. But so the biggest thing, I'm going to be out here doing it myself, right? I put the other one up myself, and it took me, a couple of days off and on. I think it was a couple of days, or was it just one day? No, off and on, I think it was 2 days. And I'm going to do the same here. It looks like it, putting up is going to be very, very similar. And plus, I'm only going to be working on in the mornings. It's that time of the year in Texas here, and by noon it's going to be really hot. I mean, the highs are over 100, all week, and it's supposed to get up to I think 106 one of these days. But so that's what I'm going to plan on doing. We'll just say, okay, I put 3 hours into it this morning and 3 hours next morning. Is that enough? Or but we'll see how it looks. We'll see how long it takes to put up, and we will get started. Alright, looks like my dog's trying to help me open the box. But one thing I did notice when I hauled this box out here, it is much heavier weight-wise than my other one over there. And let's see if we can open this up real quick. And take a look at I want to see the quality of the poles and the fabric and all that good stuff. Which, let's see. And another thing, I hope that this is not damaged, because I know when this thing was delivered, I was inside and I heard a loud crash, I wouldn't say crash, but I could tell, something hit the ground, metal. And when I went out and looked, it was FedEx had just thrown this out onto the driveway. I mean, just smack. So I'm anxious to see I want to see the quality of the poles, but I also want to make sure that nothing is bent. All right. All right, everything looks of good quality here, and nothing looks damaged. One and a half inch pipes. And what else? Let's see. Let's take a look at the fabric. Yeah, this fabric's definitely, I can tell it feels more thick, and in the texture of it, it looks heavier, a heavier quality than my previous one. And let's see. Yeah, so it looks like these pipes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 5/8, from 1 1/2 to 1 5/8, you know, depending on which one you're measuring, that get inserted inside. On my other one, I believe there were 1 3/8, so it's about somewhere around an 1/8 of an inch difference on the diameter, and but the fabric really looks good. So, well, that's good to see. I'm glad nothing was damaged during shipping. That was good old FedEx. That's not the first time I've had that happen. All right, I'm going to get this stuff set up, and we'll start the preliminary assembly here, prep work. So you can see when I got started, I just started just laying out all the poles in a pattern. And in that pattern, you can see it in the instructions. It's very clear, real easy to follow, and it just shows how to lay everything on the ground and before you start assembling everything. And it helps a lot because, you know, it helps you keep organized, plus it's a quick layout on exactly where this 10 by 20 is going to stand, right? So you can measure everything out and just lay it out per instructions. And you can see I'm already moving on to the next section of the instructions, and it's real simple. I mean, when you can just take a glance at it and see, okay, in this stage we're going to start snapping this stuff together, and it was super easy. It was just like taking those top pieces. I don't know if you call it an A-frame. It's almost like just a quick connect truss, you know. Just start putting it together. And you can see putting the top end together was super easy. It just has those spring-loaded tabs, and you just line it up and just snap it together. Super easy, and just go section by section like that. There's the bottom section of it. Just snap it on and go to the next one. Just go, there'll be 4 sections like that. once those are put together, you can start attaching with the top poles, and it's just a matter of seconds. You just start popping everything together, and you can see it's already taking shape. All right, so far that's pretty simple. I laid this out and snapped everything together, and I think it was about 20 minutes so far. I forgot to time everything, but it went together so fast. One thing that I noticed, the big difference between this one and my other one, my old one, you can see these poles here. So they have the spring loaded snaps, and so they just pop right in, right where they're supposed to be, right? And makes it very easy to assemble, but I'm almost thinking it's going to be very easy to disassemble if I have to, if I want to take it down and move it to a different spot. My other one, no, it was just kind of an interference fit. I had to, it was just sliding it in. And while I was putting it up, just like I did here, I was having to wrap everything with duct tape to keep everything from falling apart. And then after it was all done, sure, the Velcro, the duct tape was holding okay, but it was unsightly, and pretty soon the duct tape wears out after so many months in the heat and all that stuff. And I took it off and put some self-tapping screws down into the pipes. But with this, you don't need anything. You just pop it right together. And it looks like it's going to be very sturdy. There is a little play on it, but once it's all put together and tightened down, I'm sure it's going to be pretty solid. So that's where we stand now. I'm going to go ahead and finish putting this together. So now that the top section is together, you can start by putting in the side poles and pick a side. And this one I picked where you can see where the footing, the bottom of the poles is going to sit right where I want it. Whenever it's when you're ready to put the other side on, but you want to put that one side up, and then you're ready to put the tarp on. And when you're unfolding the tarp, just make sure you put it on so it's not going to be inside out, and then you can start draping it over the structure. Start stretching it out and unfolding it, and at first it seems like it was kind of a pain, but it put together very easily. And one thing to watch out for here. Gust of wind. Oh man, it just took it right off. Look, I think even the dog's laughing at it. So I had to re-pull it over. Had to do it twice, but luckily there's not a whole lot of wind. So when you put this first side down, this is the top of the tarp. You saw what happened, just a slight breeze. I mean, it's been pretty still all day, but it still just jerked it right off. Just took it right off of there, so make sure you can see the hook. Go ahead and hook that in place. Sorry, my dog's in the way. Yeah, see it right there? That'll keep it from flying off. So, well, this is going on a lot quicker than I thought. So this was probably one of the toughest parts of it. The other side, when I lifted up, it wasn't that heavy, but when you start lifting the other side with the weight of the metal plus the weight of the tarp, you can really feel. It still wasn't that bad, but and you can see on both sides, I always started at the center section and worked my way over. Once you get the two center sections on, the middle sections, then it kind of evens it out, I guess, so to speak. And once that's up, you can start putting the front and rear sections on, and real easy to do. So putting up the front and rear and even the sides are really easy. You just use those little bungee cord loops and pop them right on. Really quick and easy. And it helps to have a ladder at this point, so you can climb up there and finish everything off. You could have put the front and the rear on before you raised up the top, on the sides, but you figure it's going to add a lot of weight, so I decided to go ahead and erect it first and then use a ladder to put it on. So far, rolling this thing up has been the toughest thing for one person. It's so long. Having a person on each side of it while you roll it up would have been much cleaner, but I just wanted to roll it up real quick to keep it from flopping around in the wind until I get the sides fastened down, and I'll get the other end put up right away. So these stakes that came with this thing seem kind of small, but that's okay. The two inner posts, it'll probably be okay. And I might double up on it, but you can see I have these larger tent stakes. And I got multitudes of these things. I use them on tarps and all that stuff a lot. So if it'll fit through these holes, then I'll use them. This one doesn't fit. So later on I'll find a bigger stake. I like to put the larger stakes on the outer post, the four corners. So these stakes, oh look at that, it even came with a set of gloves. I didn't even notice that. That'll come in handy though. So you can see the size of these stakes. They're pretty good size, but they are plastic. And these are used for the guy wires. And you can see what I did on this one. Guy wires just like this. And since I probably really don't have a lot of room to put any guy wires on, I recommend using some weights. And it's like these right here. Let me get this where we can see it. Yeah, see those weights like that? I use these on tents, on the pop-up tents, and I also used them on the corners of that 10 by 20 there too. And you see this barbell. No, I don't work out with 80 pounds anymore, but I've taken old barbells and stuff like that and used those for weights on the corners. And you'd be surprised, this is about 25 pounds after you fill this thing with gravel. and they work really, really well on holding these things down when the wind starts picking up. And so I'll probably put those 80-pounders on the two outer corners, and then have these weights on there also, because that held up pretty well. Made a world of difference with the other tents before they would rip out of the ground. But with just 25 pounds on the corners, and you can even go with the inner ones, but the corner ones are the most susceptible to being pulled out with wind. So I'm almost done. And you can see how fast this thing went up, and this is just by myself, about an hour and a half so far. And you got to count that's the time for stopping, reading the instructions over again, playing with the dog, and filming, you know. So I could have gotten it up in an hour easy, but of course that's without the sidewalls. I did put the front and the rear, the sides, because I want to keep this open for now, while I get everything straightened away, and I might just leave it there like this. I might modify it. You can see how that wall is propped up like an awning. Right now it looks a little flimsy because I have the guy wire pulled until I get everything straightened away. But it just provides a little canopy deal. And I might do the same with this. Yeah, it just all depends when I take a look at it, because I know along this bar it uses the same elastic hoops like this. I don't know what you call those, but I know along this side, this other one went together the same way as far as this goes. So I'm sure I can hook up these walls at the top going across here, and just, you know, lift the rear up and secure it kind of the same way as I did the other one. But that one was made to be that way. That's one good thing I do like about that one over there. It's made so that you can prop up that side wall. This one is not made to be that way. The side walls, they're meant to go on, and this part and this part of the front wall is Velcro. Is supposed to Velcro to these sides that go on. So, but one thing I did like about the side walls on this one, it does have a window. Has two of them on each side, and you can roll them up just like I rolled up the front and the rear. So this is actually pretty nice. I was really pleased at how fast this thing went up. I like the spring buttons there. Made it much easier. That other one I had to, like I said, duct tape everything together, and then after it was put up, put my own screws through to secure it. But this one, and the fabric feels very heavy. Looks like a heavier gauge material, and hopefully it's going to last a little longer. This one, I can see some tears coming up here. See that? And this one's been on here for about a year. And I've had to do some patches here and there. And over here I've already taken them off and put the screws on. But the fabric on this one's much lighter weight. You can tell. I'd have to say I'm pretty pleased with this setup here. And this is brought to you by Gardesol. This is the Gardesol 10x20 carport. and they have quite a few nice, very nice products that I'm sure I'll be using some more soon. They have one slightly bigger than this. I believe it was, well, you'll have to get online and look. I'll include a link, not only to their website, but they also sell on Amazon. I can include a link to Amazon for you. And I'd have to say, yeah, I really like it. And if you're in the market for one of these, definitely check them out, because it, so far, just 2 thumbs up. It's a good quality, sturdy setup, and it went up quick. So I guess I am gonna get to work here and get everything squared away. I'm gonna be stacking stuff in here. You know, I'm sure you'll see this in some upcoming videos, because I'll be working under this thing. And so I have to say, I guess, same as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch for my next video.